Well, okay. Um, there's as you all are aware, at the present time in Canada and in the United States and in many European countries too, Western European countries, there is an awful lot of immigration right now. There's a lot of people flooding into these countries from all over the world, and pretty much it's an uncontrolled and unchecked immigration. Um, you know, back in the old days when you immigrated to a country, like for example, when you immigrated to the United States, when those people got off the ships, they were quarantined at Ellis Island and they were processed there. And if you were sick, you didn't come into the United States, to the continental United States. You just didn't, they wouldn't let you in, at least not until they knew that you were healthy. So that's just how it was. And that was common sense because it protected the people who were already in the United States from various diseases that these other people were coming in might be carrying. Now, when the Europeans first came to North America, they caused a lot of problems for the natives here, because the natives here didn't have any resistance to European diseases. The European people, they were coming from cities in Europe where there were plague-carrying rats. There was literally feces and urine running down the streets. They were literally dumping their chamber pots out the windows into the streets and everything. And so the people were used to that. They had a resistance to various diseases that might be carried, that might exist there. They had that built up. But when they came over here, the native people didn't have any resistance to that. They weren't accustomed to it. Right now, my concern, and I see it's being raised now, and I'm glad it is being raised because it's something I've been thinking about. I'm glad to see other people on YouTube raising this, is the proliferation of diseases. There are countries in this world, there are places in this world where tuberculosis and leprosy are still issues. We don't think about those diseases anymore. As far as we're concerned, they're gone, but they're really not gone. On a worldwide basis, these things do still exist. And our population these days has no resistance to it because, we just weren't exposed to it. I was born in 1968. Tuberculosis had pretty much been wiped out by 1968. Not to say that it didn't exist, because it did, but it wasn't anywhere near to what it was, say, back in the 1930s and 40s. So see, people of my generation, we won't have the resistance to that say, the older people before us had. And the people younger than us will have even less resistance. If you're in your 20s or 30s right now, you're not going to have the resistance that somebody like me has, because I at least lived in a time when it still was a thing. It just wasn't as big a thing, Anyway, that's the end of my video, I guess, my